everyone. Welcome to another episode of Words of Heart. In today's episode, we have the privilege of speaking with Amy. Is it Singh? I forgot how to do your last name.
It's Sinha.
Sigha. I may.
Sinha.
It's a really interesting last name. Thank you for joining me today, Amy.
Oh, thank you for having me. I know it's been a long time. Back and forth messages.
Yes, a long time coming indeed. So, Amy, if you could tell my audience a bit about yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, so my name, as you said, is Amy Sinha, and I live in Wales in the UK. And I've been a singer for most of my life, also a presenter. Now I'm a voiceover artist, and that's how I start when people ask me about myself.
Awesome. So, you're a voiceover artist. What is that exactly does that entail? Because I know there's many different brackets to when it comes to voiceover of all kinds, but what specifically do you do with your voice acting?
Well, I can do mostly a lot of things. So I can do the way my voice is now, or I can do a Welsh accent because I come from Wales, so I do Welsh accents. Or I can put on a child's voice. I've done a few animations, so I can do varied things with my voice. I think I'm not sure how old my voice sounds. That's a question I get asked a lot. What's your voice age? And honestly, I really have no clue what my voice age is. But it depends on what people want. I'm quite an upbeat person, I guess, but a lot of the times people want some sort of like sad sort of things like that. So I guess I have to go into acting mode and or think of something sad and kind of do that as well. But so I've just learned how to change my voice. I think the singing really helped over the years. So I think I already did that singing. I used to do classical and jazz. So I kind of got a lot of emotion that way, a lot of expressiveness. So I think that helps as well.
Interesting. So acting, singing, that all involves a lot of emotion, as you just eloquently put it. Considering things are so hectic right now, with the pandemic, I mean, it's hectic all over the world. I can't even imagine what it's like in the UK right now. How has that affected? Has it helped with your voice acting or perfecting it? How has that affected your job specifically?
It's actually really helped. So I only actually got into it at the end of 2019. And I was struggling to think how I was going to do this, how I was going to put myself out there. And I guess I got my answer. The pandemic hit. And then I know it's a horrible thing to say, really, but the pandemic hit, and then everyone went online, and everyone started networking online and Zoom networking and Teams, and it's just taken off. And I've got to meet people in different countries and America as well. And Americans do tend to love the British accent, so I've been trying to get my name known in America. So yeah, it has helped. Yeah.
Interesting. So, as you mentioned, you're a voice actor and singer, and you have to project your voice for probably long periods of time, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, have you always wanted to be a voiceover actor or singer? How did you exactly get into that? I mean, I'm assuming singing comes first, but that would explain how you got into singing, and exactly did your voice reality come to be?
Yeah, so the singing did come first, and I suffered with a few disabilities when I was younger. So I had cataracts at the age of 1, which did leave me almost blind. I had only a little bit of my eyesight left, and my older sisters were musical as well. So we always used to sing, and I think the singing thing just helped, just helped me with my voice. I was very quiet and very shy, and I lacked in confidence. I had a lot of other disabilities going on as well. I had a rare medical disorder, which left me quite small. So I stopped growing at the age of 11, and also had osteoarthritis. It was quite severe. So I found mobility really, really difficult. So all of that was testing as a child and a teenager. And I think music was one way of getting myself out there, and getting my voice heard, even though I was quite shy and I never really used to talk to people that I didn't know. But it really helped me to meet new people, and to have a voice. And over time, I've kind of learned how to express how I'm feeling through words rather than music. Before, it used to be expressing how I felt through music, and over time, it has been actually just like this, so talking. But that's taken a long time for me to do.
Interesting. And I can completely relate to being really shy and not really talkative. I wasn't really talkative growing up. Just to give you a little insight, I had many health deficiencies and issues growing up. Just to give you a broad spectrum of the degree of how chaotic my not upbringing, but my start into this world actually came to be. For the first 2 years of my life, I actually couldn't hear her talk.
Wow.
So as far as projecting one voice, I actually understand the magnitude of that a lot more than people would expect. You turn to singing because it was your only way to be heard. Growing up, I had my faith and I had to work harder than everybody else because of my deficiencies. As a result of that, I turned to writing specifically. That was my own way of getting my voice heard or projecting my voice more eloquently and deeply than I really couldn't do in my reality. And writing eventually led to poetry, and poetry to put the whole full circle spectrum eventually ended up leading to this podcast. I actually got diagnosed with diabetes at the start of the pandemic. So the pandemic wasn't exactly good to me either. Any type of health condition or diagnosis was absolutely terrifying considering this virus could kill us. It is through that particular diagnosis that really my faith, I'm a Christian, so that's really important to me. It's through that diagnosis, I saw it as God's way of giving my life more purpose, another chance to live my life, because if I hadn't got diagnosed, I could have died. Which obviously, if I died, then this podcast wouldn't have occurred and we wouldn't be having this conversation, which would just be absolutely dreadful and sad. So my whole journey and how I project my voice, and basically I've gone through this mantra this past season. Actually, I guess it started in 2020 when I got diagnosed with diabetes, is basically being a warrior for change through the power of my words. So first it was my poetry and projecting that onto the universe. And then God led me to podcasting. And now I'm helping voices like yours and mine and just having them be shared across all spectrums of the world, because we all have a story and it should be heard because it can help someone.
Well, it seems very worthwhile what you're doing. And I think everything leads to there's something. We always think that when things are over and that's done, and then we're searching for the next thing. And I used to get really depressed, but something always comes up, like a new idea, a new thought, a new opportunity that may not lead you in the path that you're on. It might lead you off a different path. But I think it's just following, if it feels right, or, if you get inspired, it's just follow that path. And you don't know where it can lead. Is quite something.
Absolutely. So, out of curiosity, since you did say you do voice acting, is there any shows you could, I don't know how it works because I'm sure there's like certain limits to what shows you can share or not, but is there a particular show that if people wanted to know more about your voice acting awesomeness, is there a show that you would recommend for them to check out, assuming that they could find it, because I'm sure UK and US standards are very different?
Well, I can't think of any shows that I've been on that you might have seen. I did an animation, but I think it's in the UK. But there's things on YouTube. If you just Google my name, there's like various things that you can see. But no, I'd love to do a show on Netflix. That would be that's my next thing. I'd love to put it out there. I'd love to do a show on Netflix.
Netflix, yes, that is the dream. So considering the pandemic, though really unfortunate for many people, it did help with your voice acting because everything's conducive to online. How have you mentally been doing, even though it's helped you professionally?
Well, at the start, it was tough. I had all these goals that I wanted to do, especially with the voiceovers, and I wanted to go to all of these social events, and this was, well, that last year was the year I was going to make everything happen, and it was starting off really well, and then everything shut down, and it was difficult, and it was a big birthday. I turned 40 last year, and it was difficult because we had all these plans, me and my friends, and every other month we were planning to do something. Obviously we couldn't, and that was it took a lot to get my head around it. So I think I was depressed probably for the first, probably March, April, May, June, probably up until my birthday. And then after my birthday, I kind of, when things you kind of build up and then there's a release, and then, well, this big thing is over now. Okay, well, it's fine. It wasn't as bad. I had a party in my garden. So it wasn't as bad. Actually, it was better than I probably would have been, like, all these different people having a massive party. So, and then I made work a priority then, and I was like, right, I'm gonna move forward with the voiceovers, and I get myself a website. Well, I built my own website, and then I joined a networking group, and then I found other networking groups, and it's been a lifeline actually, just to do things like this, to help me mentally, because it's hard to keep going when you think, because I was only at the start. I only just started, doing it last year, and when it's stopped, as soon as it starts, it can get, oh well, is there any point to doing this? But I think the networking has been amazing, because then I've got so much good feedback, and it's like, yes, there is a point. I'm going to keep going even when things are not working. I still kind of gear myself up, going, no, but I can do it. I've come so far in a short space of time when everything, was against me, and it was going on. So yeah, it's been up and down. I think maybe for a lot of people mentally, it's been hard. I mean, in one way, you've got all this free time, which actually has been good, because I did a lot of self-reflection, and I realized that I never used to actually talk about myself before last year, actually, and certain things happened last year, and I had time to think about it, and I thought, I don't want to carry on like this. So I got a life coach, and I kind of worked through a few things, and I made it my sole purpose then for this year to just go out there and talk about who I actually am. Even people who've known me for probably a lot of years, they don't know the true person that I am, because I never used to. It used to be on a need to know basis. I used to tell people what they needed to know when they needed to know. I'm an honest person. If people ask me a question, I will absolutely tell them the answer. But I doubt people will actually say, "Oh, do you suffer from a rare medical disorder?" or things like that. Or no, or can you see? Because I don't look like I can't see. People think that I can. So all these things about my life that has been secretive for so long. Although I don't know why, now that I keep talking about it, but I think I built it up for so many years since I was young. And now it's just a release, and it's been quite freeing, actually. And I think probably since October, I've just never been more happier than I have been. So, yeah.
I completely understand keeping some things on a need to know basis. Really up to this year, that part I mentioned earlier about not being able to hear or talk for the first 2 years of my life
Yeah.
wasn't public knowledge. It wasn't something I made a point to mention to anyone, even those my friends closest to me. I never made it a point to mention, yet it's basically my life. Like, that's how I was born into this universe, couldn't hear or talk. So it's like basically my whole life story in a nutshell, and how different and unique I am compared to any other child. So why wouldn't I mention this fundamental part of my story? It wasn't until I got interviewed by another podcaster called Jessica Bell. Her podcast is called Unmute Your Mic, and she asks really deep questions you normally wouldn't think. And I was explaining to her how I got into podcasting and how it was in correlation to me being diagnosed with diabetes. And I mentioned a bit about my poetry. Now that's the only voice projection I've ever really done. And I decided to go even deeper and be like, look, this is a part of my story. I need to share it. I shouldn't hide it. So I told her, hey, for the first 2 years of my life, I couldn't hear her talk. So obviously that was really mind blowing to her, as I'm sure many people who were listening, um,
Mm.
because it's sort of symbiotic and it comes full circle. Hey, I couldn't hear her talk when I was born. Well, first 2 years of my life, I couldn't hear her talk. And now I'm on such a broad platform known as podcasting, speaking louder than ever before. And now everybody can hear me. So
It's kind
um,
of symbolic, isn't it? It does come full circle. Yeah.
absolutely. On a personal level, for those who are having trouble finding their voice in any
Yeah.
way, what advice would you give them?
Oh, wow. Well, from experience, I think it takes time, and things only happen when you're ready. So there's no set timing of say if you go through a trauma, or if you go through a breakup, there is no certain time of getting over it. So it's taken me 39 years to come to this place. And I have to give myself a break because I keep saying, oh, I wish I'd done this before. I wish I'd done this earlier, but I wouldn't be here before. I'm not the person I am a year ago. I'm completely different. So I think first of all is give yourself a break, give yourself time, but then don't wallow. Give yourself enough time. Say I'm going to give myself so and so much time. It's your own timing, but then just that's it. Don't wallow any more than that. Pick yourself up, write down a plan, do something, listen to music, watch a comedy, do something just to lift yourself up, to get yourself moving, and then opportunities will come in that higher level. If you're when you're in a lower kind of level, the energies are low, and then positive opportunities don't have a chance to come. So even if you're feeling a little bit happier, you laughing is an amazing thing, then your vibrations are higher, you meet the right people, the right things will come to you exactly at the right time. So that is the advice I'd give, and just to write things down, as you were saying, your poetry, and I think it really helps you to put your emotions down on a page, to maybe focus, maybe write down the things that you want to happen in your life, and then be patient. Just be patient with yourself and the universe. That the universe is listening, and just let it unfold naturally. And I know people, I am very impatient. When I want something, I want it now. So I just take a little bit of time going, take a step back, do something else. And then it will. Just have faith and know. I think believing is one of the biggest things that people find hard because they can't see it. But if you actually truly do believe, you'll be so surprised how things just come. Things will come if you believe. I know that's a song. I don't believe what I'm singing, but I'm quoting from the song. It will.
That is a song, and I bet if I hear it now,
Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, yeah, the Prince of Egypt. You will when you
oh,
believe. Just came to mind then. I was like, hang on a minute.
I wasn't thinking that. I was to be because there's a lot of songs I'm sure called Believe, and to be honest, I don't even think this is a song of theirs. I was actually thinking of the Beatles for some reason.
Ah, okay.
Um, I'm sure because of the UK, I'm sure you're really familiar with that particular band, but for some reason it popped in my head because they're such a awesome band. But
Yeah.
obviously we're thinking of Mariah Carey. I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie now because I don't remember that song. But so I do have that icebreaker question for you.
Mhm.
Many of my guests enjoy this question.
Okay.
So I might stump you a bit, but I don't know. We shall see. If you could have any superpower that's not flying or teleporting, many people pick teleporting when I say they can't pick flying, which is the exact same thing. But plus, you're in the UK, so I don't imagine you wanting to travel anyplace else. But anyhow,
Well, right now I would because it's raining like anything and there's gale storm. So I would actually like to be anywhere else but here. But no, go on, go on.
if you could have any superpower that's not flying or teleporting, what would it be?
Oh wow! Well, you know what? I love supernatural things and anything sci-fi, and I know exactly what this answer is going to be because, yeah, I really want it. It's moving things with my mind. I remember because I remember watching Charmed. I don't know if you see it, that witch program, The Three Sisters, and I
Yeah.
think I was watching it so much that I woke up one morning and I really thought that I had powers to move things for some reason, and my hand was going like this with the curtains, like I'm moving my hands right now, thinking, right, I'm thinking, why aren't the curtains moving? And then like, literally it took me like 30 seconds to realize that I can't move things with my mind or my hands. So it would be kind of cool to be able to do that.
So I gotta ask, probably because this is such a awesome show when it comes to moving things with your mind. Have you ever seen the movie Matilda?
I have. Yes, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Such a great movie. I had to ask because it's such a classical movie, and I think I mean, obviously there's other movies where you can move things with your mind, and there's Star Wars, awesome movie. But Matilda is really well known for like being able to move things with her mind as a small child. So
That is true. And she doesn't have to use the force, although she might probably has the force within her.
absolutely a little Jedi in training.
Mm.
Well, the power I would pick, it's not exactly a power yet, but I feel like it would be one in the future,
Mm.
would be the power for this podcast to be heard across other galaxies that have yet to be discovered. Yet,
That was probably a lot of galaxies.
yes. Intergalactic broadcasting.
Well, I don't think that is going to be very far away. So keep the thought out there.
Yes. And people are going to be watching your voiceover show from Netflix on the moon.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to put that in the universe too.
Love it.
Well, Amy, we can talk about the future and all the space discoveries that have yet to come, but we are at the end of this awesome conversation, unfortunately. Do you have any social plugins for my audience before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to, please come say hi. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, if you're on Clubhouse. And I also have a website at amysinha.com where you can just find everything, all the information. Oh, sorry, I'm on YouTube as well. I have 3 channels. So if you just type in my name, you'll find something and just connect and give me an email at amy@amysinha.com. And I would love to say hi.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me today, Amy. This was a wonderful, wonderful conversation.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I hope you have a great day. Sorry, what is the weather like before I leave?
No worry. The weather is, well, it was sunny a second ago. I guess it's not, well, yeah, it's a bit sunny, a little cloudy.
That's good. I have a hopefully keep the sun shining.
Florida weather's really unpredictable. Give it
It
another
is.
hour and it might rain, but at the moment it seems to be decent. So
Well, I hope it stays sunny for you.
I hope that I'll transfer the sunshine to the UK and hopefully your weather perks up a bit.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
No problem. To all my listeners, stay healthy, stay safe, enjoy the weather wherever that may be. And until next time, bye.